When it comes to the sidekick in martial arts, there are multiple ways to improve it. You can simply kick your way to a better sidekick, although you might hurt yourself because you might try to force that kicking height when your body's just not ready for it. You can always do different kicking drills, assisted or unassisted, to improve your sidekick. But why not focus not only on improving your sidekick, but also improving your mobility? In today's video, guys, I'm gonna explain 5 different mobility exercises you can do to not only improve your sidekick, but also your overall mobility. Because honestly, who doesn't wanna move better while performing their sidekick? Let's dive in. The first exercise on the list is the steering wheel sidekick. This is the ultimate favorite for me. The steering wheel sidekick is an amazing exercise because it puts your body in an awkward position. You gotta start by having your hands in a steering wheel position. So arms extended, hands at either 10-2, 9-3, and you wanna make sure your torso doesn't deviate from this positioning. So you're gonna start by lifting one leg up, internally rotate that hip, side kick out, keeping that leg nice and straight. And again, you also wanna make sure your hands are at 10-2, 9-3. Don't let your torso deviate from the side kick. Meaning, as you side kick out, try not to let your torso lean to the opposite side so much. Try to keep it in a dead center. This puts crazy tension on your hips, glutes, and your QL muscles. Pause briefly when you get done doing a side kick, bring it back in and repeat this for reps. So not only are you building up your mobility, but you're also gonna improve your side kick. Oftentimes when people perform a side kick, their torso leans back so far. So we wanna build strength within this range, specifically the QL muscles. And that's why the steering wheel side kick isolates those muscles and helps to build strength. So then that way, when you perform a side kick, your torso doesn't lean to the side as much. This in return is gonna build more stability, strength, and improve your technique. And when you first do this exercise, you're gonna feel this cramping sensation. So just know that's normal. As you guys get stronger, that cramping that you feel will start to go away. The next mobility exercise I wanna talk about is hip internal rotation. People that struggle with hip internal rotation oftentimes will have a bad side kick. When you guys go into your side kick chamber, it requires hip internal rotation. And of course, if you have poor hip internal rotation, you're not maximizing your side kick capability. Ultimately, the power of your side kick is dictated by the chamber. Think about it as being a bow and arrow. The closer I have that string drawn onto me, the more power that is stored. Hence, when I get ready to release the bow and arrow, that arrow is gonna have more power. Same thing with your side kick. If you have poor hip internal rotation, you're not able to fully maximize your power. So we have to work on developing hip internal rotation. There's multiple ways of doing this. Start by sitting on the couch, have a band around your ankles, and simply place a yoga block in between your knees. If you don't have access to that, no worries. But you wanna internally rotate one leg at a time, pause for a second, and then repeat this for reps. Great way to improve hip internal rotation. You also have 90-90 transfers, which is a great way to improve hip internal rotation. 90-90 hip internal rotations. These are great exercises to improve hip internal rotation. So if you work on this for a while, and the next time you go to do your side kick, the more rotation you get with that side kick and the tighter that chamber, the more power that you're gonna have stored, and you'll have a better side kick. And a quick little side note, for sparring or fighting purposes, you don't wanna telegraph your side kick. So rather than focus so much on hip internal rotation, just throw that kick in the chamber and deliver your side kick. The main reason why I want you guys to focus on improving hip internal rotation is the fact that it's gonna improve your mobility, it's gonna improve your side kick as well. But just understand you have your training purposes for technique, for power, for strength, and you also have your sparring, your fighting, all of that stuff. So you wanna make sure you guys don't telegraph your side kick. That's my side note. Now, the next exercise is gonna be hip external and internal rotation. You're gonna start in the 90-90 position, and what you're gonna do, guys, is start by externally rotating that working leg. From here, once you get to that position, you're gonna internally rotate that leg now. With this, you wanna make sure you keep your torso nice and straight. Try not to let it deviate so much. This helps to really isolate your hip joint. To minimize your torso movement, have your hands on the steering wheel or have them together. Some shape or form, minimize moving your torso. Go with a 3 to 5 second tempo. Don't speed through this exercise. That's the best way to maximize mobility training. This will help develop a better side kick because you're working on hip internal rotation. You're also gonna build strength within your external rotators. So when you guys do a side kick, remember the big muscles at play are gonna be your hips, your glutes, lower back. But when you work on those smaller muscles, that's the details. We wanna make sure we sharpen up those details as much as possible so that way we can deliver a really nice side kick. And you know, you're also gonna be improving your mobility in the process. That's what we want. We want a better side kick, but we also wanna improve our mobility so we can move better, perform better, and of course, train for longevity. Moving on to the next exercise, that's gonna be side kick dead raises. Honestly, I can't praise this exercise enough. It's performed just how it sounds. You start in a side kick-like position. You're gonna have that leg on a bar. You can have it at knee height, hip height, higher than that. What you're gonna do is simply lift that leg up. Pause briefly at that top position. The side kick dead raise puts your body in an in-range position. Anytime we're in an in-range position, we don't have the best strength. So we're gonna help isolate this by performing this exercise in regards to the side kick. However, the biggest thing with this exercise is the fact that you wanna keep that leg nice and straight. It's easy to bend your leg slightly because you feel that pain and that tension, but don't let your leg become unstraightened, as you won't maximize the full capacity of this exercise. Also ensure you keep that foot in a bladed position. This is gonna help keep your leg straightened as well. Another thing, as you're doing this exercise, the higher you go, it's easy for your torso to lean away from it as well. We don't want our torso to lean back so much. We want to keep it upright as possible because this puts more tension within those working muscles, specifically the QL muscles, which is critical with your side kick. This exercise is very difficult in the beginning, so I suggest start with something lower. As you guys get stronger, go higher and higher. This exercise will improve your side kicking height, strength, technique. This exercise should be mandatory when it comes to improving your side kick. The last exercise I have on the list is torso lifts. As I said with the side kick dead raises, naturally, your torso is gonna lean back to compensate. In order to combat this, we work on torso lifts. This exercise helps to build strength within those QL muscles, which then is gonna help transfer over to having a better side kick. People's torso lean back a lot when they perform the side kick. So we have to combat this by building that necessary strength. We set up like we would with the dead side kick raise, but instead of lifting that leg up, we focus more on our torso. So we lean our torso back and we simply crunch back up, and you repeat this for reps. This right here is working lateral flexion. So if you sit a lot at work or you stand a lot, you're not working on lateral flexion, those QL muscles become weaker. So this is gonna improve your side kick, but it's also gonna improve your mobility as well. I also recommend for you guys to hold this for time. So get to that top position and hold this for like 10 seconds, maybe even 15. Keep in mind, the higher your leg goes, the harder this exercise becomes as well. So make sure you guys train accordingly. Don't just rush into things. Take it slow at first, and as you guys get progressively stronger, elevate the intensity. But there you go, guys. Those are my 5 exercises I recommend to not only improve your side kick, but also your mobility. This right here was a tough list to choose from. There are other exercises out there you guys can use to improve your side kick and mobility, but I had to give you guys just 5. Please feel free to join me on my mobility martial arts training videos. And if you guys are interested in online coaching, consider shooting me a DM on Instagram or shooting me an email. And last but not least, ultimately guys, to improve your side kick, do all of these, but work on your side kick itself. That's super important. But that's all I have for you guys. If you enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Most importantly, make sure I properly subscribe. I'll see you guys next video. Peace and love as always. And now shave. Boom. We out, baby.